I'm going to actually cut upwards like this. So there's a number of ways we can do that. Let's try freehanding it like this, all right? All right, not too bad. Look at that. In one shot, we did it in one shot. So now what we'll do is go back in and just clean up any sort of bits into here. So this is gonna be pretty much an extreme, I don't wanna say, I guess kind of like a shag, right? Like a modern shag, a heavily layered haircut, whatever it is you wanna call it. But really what's important is, understanding that, yes, we wanna try to keep the length, but at the same time, we need to go in and create a lot of movement. And what I'm doing is I'm standing right in front of the section where I'm cutting. Now keep in mind, if this was a real client, I'd basically be sitting in her lap. And ladies, that's extra. But, but just keep in mind that the more you are in front of where you're cutting, the better it is. If you notice my finger positioning right into here, that's pretty much the biggest highlight of what I'm doing. Is I'm pointing my fingers down this way. And literally because of how my fingers are positioned, it allows me to cut very comfortably. And that's really, really, really important. All right, so now that this is done here, we're gonna go back on this side just to make sure everything is looking good. And then it's time to, remember, we still have to cut the length in the back. We haven't even touched that yet. We still have to cut that. And we still have to layer it. So what we're doing is we're kind of creating the perimeter. We're doing it in reverse because of starting off on the side into here. But just want to show you guys how this is looking as of right now. All right, just take a look at those layers and how it's all flowing. All right, now it's time for the layering in throughout the back here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a section right here down the middle, in the middle of the head. I'm creating the division point, which separates the front from the back. And it's literally the flat point of the head. That's where you know you need to separate this from the front and the back. And all I'm doing is just pushing that hair out of the way, nothing too complicated. I'm gonna take a section, a horizontal section straight across. All right, now this is very, very important, this piece right here, all right? And I want you guys to really understand a few things. So when we look at the front, we've got this part right in through here that we need to connect in through here while keeping the length. All right, see these two in through here? While keeping the length on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, but we still want to make this pretty much, a shag and have a lot of movement to it. So I'm gonna cut the hair right here, straight across. And the reason I'm doing it like this is because this is going to be my guide right into here. So this piece, let's turn this around. This piece right now, what we've done, as you can see it through here, is we've got the lift already, right? So now we've got this piece and we've got the front right into here. And what we're going to do is now create and blend everything in through the back. And how do we go about doing that? Well, I'm gonna take a section, again, a horizontal section, right in through here, and we're gonna comb this all straight up, like this. We're gonna comb this all straight up. There's that length right there that we need to cut, and we're gonna cut this straight across. What this is doing is it's allowing the hair to have movement, but it's also allowing us to take away some of that excess weight. So I'm gonna comb all this straight up to this one piece right here, and cut straight across. And by doing this, it also helps keep you consistent, right? And it also allows you to make sure everything is going to be even, because we're really essentially just bringing it up to this one point right through here. So same thing on the other side. And this might be a bit, intimidating if you're going, oh my God, I'm cutting all this hair off. Don't worry about it. The worst case scenario is your client could end up looking like me with a bald head. Not to worry. Again, combing it straight up, There's the guide, and we're cutting it straight across. All right, now what I want to do is raise this up, and it's time now to, so we've got the layers into here, we're looking good, and now it's time to connect this into the back. And how are we going to do that? I have no idea. Now, how we're going to do that, we're going to comb all this down right into this section, and we're going to angle our elbows. We're going to bring the hair up to this one point right into here. But we want to make sure we're going all the way to the very, very, very bottom. And there is that excess weight we need to remove. So a lot of this is just creating that shape, as you can see into here. We're really just rotating, right? We're rotating. And there we have it. So now I want to say we're almost home free, right? Because once we have our base, then we're good to go. So here we go. Now we're going to start to see some hair come off. And what I want to really make sure I do is I want to kind of over direct and pull towards the center, so I'm maintaining this weight and the length into the corner here. And I don't want to go too far in front. That's the sides right there. What I do want to do is I do want to comb everything back towards me, again, to maintain that weight and to not cut anything that, you know, we need to keep on. Very, very, very important. Now watch. We're going to drop that down. We're going to cut it. And we kept everything solid, which is really, really, really important. If I cut that wrong and held it in the wrong angle, well, what would happen is that we could be creating some serious holes in the haircut into those corners, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. All right, so now again, combing, and we're rotating up because this is the length. We don't want to cut that length. And that's where the hand positioning and the elbow body positioning, everything really works in sync, to be honest with you. It's all very, very, very important. But what's essential is making sure that you're not cutting a section. You have to go through the entire haircut, right? You have to make sure that every piece, every section is part of the haircut, or else, it's not going to lay right. It's not going to have the same flow. Everything's going to be way off. Okay, so this is for the other side. So let's take a look at the back, what we got here. We've got some serious layers going on through here. It looks phenomenal. Great texture, great movement. And let's just pull everything out this way to cross-check to make sure everything is good. And for once, I'm feeling like Even Steven right now. All right, Even Steven is on a roll. I'm sure Uneven Steven will come out sooner or later, but all right, so now it's time to do the top. So what are we going to do? This is where it gets a little bit tricky, all right? So look at all that hair right there. This is the back, and all we're doing is connecting. We don't want to touch that. We've already cut that, but we have to connect it. So there's the guide, and we're going to cut straight across. We're going to bring everything to this one piece right here. Everything to that one piece. And what that's doing, it's removing all that weight. Okay, let's go down the center. And all we're doing now is following the head shape. And now that we're getting to the very, very front, there we go. So that, again, is our guide right there. And now we're going to bring everything up to this one piece. Over directing. Making sure this elbow is nice and locked in. Let's bring all this up here. All the hair. Make sure we're combing all this up. And it's very important what we're going to see here. Okay, there's the corner. And this is what you want to see, guys. You want to make sure that you're seeing all of this balanced. Okay, you don't want to see, when you're cutting the hair, you don't want to see parts that are like, yes, since we're cutting, we're seeing all that length, but that's what we're getting rid of. So now we're going to comb this all down, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, the same thing on the other side. So what I like to do is switch positions, and now we're going to be cutting towards the back, like this. Everything straight up, and there we go. All right, take a nice horizontal section. Now if you notice my body, I'm really pretty much standing in the same position the entire haircut. I'm standing in the same position. Body positioning and posture is really crucial. That's where I'm saying you don't have to put yourself in awkward positions when you're cutting, because that'll end up, you know, you'll end up hurting your back, your shoulders. All right, so once again, combing everything straight up to the middle. There we go. Everything's cut straight across. Just want to make sure that this is all balanced in through here. Okay, good to go. This is the shape that we got going on so far here. Looking good, looking good. I want to just drop this down so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I'm bringing all this hair up from the sides and the bottom all the way up. And look at that. We nailed it. We nailed it. Really, really great to see. So now remember that weight we left in the corner and the back? Let's bring that up. Not a whole lot, but just that little tiny bit off. And there we go. Let's flip the head around on the other side. Same thing, we're gonna bring all the hair up from the bottom. Just a little bit there, not much. And believe it or not, once we execute this whole thing, then the haircut is pretty much done. The haircut is pretty much done. Let's see what we got. Everything is looking phenomenal. Look at all that volume and that texture in there. And this is, again, folks, this is with it wet. This is no, obviously no product or anything. It's not blow dried. So we got some length, we got some texture. Look at all that movement in there. Look at that. All right, so let's blow dry it, and we'll come back and see the finished result. Well, here we have it, guys. I literally just want to use no brush whatsoever. I just wanted the haircut to do all the work. And, you know, again, I want this to be a bit shaggy and a bit textured looking. Not super smooth at all, but look at all that volume. All right, let's spin this around a little bit so you can see the side into here. So again, we do have the length still. I mean, it's actually still really long. You know, we kept the weight into the corners into here, which is awesome. Spin this around. Now here's what's really, really important. Let's center this, sorry about that. Let's center this. What's really important is what you're seeing. You're not really seeing much of anything because there's no harsh steps or layers in it, or like choppiness in it, right? But what we've got is a seamless connection going from all the way up here, all the way to the very, very bottom, all right? And look at this, look how short these are. And this is really, you know, I'm super thrilled with how this came out. So let's keep going around. Again, same thing, looking good in through here. And it just works all the way around into the very, very front. You know, it is maybe a bit of a dated haircut, to be honest with you. But at the same time, it still looks pretty darn good, I'll be honest with you. I think it's a nice haircut. Maybe it's a trend we'll start to see again. Who knows, you know? Who knows what's gonna happen into here? And here's some peekaboo kind of baby bangs right into here if we want to do that. We could do that right into here. And yeah, I think it's looking pretty good.